Hello, my name is Melanie Gilmore, and today I am going to be talking about my servant leadership project, which is Book Buddies. What is Book Buddies? Book Buddies, after doing some research on this project, I noticed that many different schools implemented this program differently. Some schools paired upper elementary students with lower elementary students, and others allowed for adults or parents and teens to come in and volunteer. Some also met once a week and others once a month. Even though they had different ways of implementing the program, they all focused on sharing in the joy of reading, responding to what they just read, and building relationships with others in the school building or the community. Why is this program needed? These past 2.5 years with COVID, our school district has really been showing decreasing or steady scores in our reading. This year, we have really been trying to bridge that gap and find strategies and resources that provide the success that we need to hopefully see those increasing scores. Book Buddies is going to be a great project to help focus on all those components of reading, like fluency, accuracy, comprehension, and expression. This is and hopefully it will encourage a positive look on reading and building an interest in reading. It can help build school-wide relationships to help encourage good behavior, because we've also struggled with some behavioral students in our school as well. And hopefully increase our school-wide reading scores in the end. The objectives for this project will be that students will be able to ask and answer questions, orally and written, relating to the text that they will be reading, which will differ depending on the circumstances. And students will be able to demonstrate fluency during their oral reading by showing expression and acknowledging the punctuation. I've been working really hard with my kids on that in our classroom so that they can be good examples of this when we finally implement it. Students will be able to demonstrate and observe social, emotional, reading, and writing skills. And they will be able to engage in cooperative learning activities that promote a positive school community. Who is involved in my project? The team that I developed for this new project in my school consists of my head principal, and his job was to give project approval when needed and provide necessary suggestions on how this could be implemented properly and successfully in our school building. He was actually the one that suggested that we partner with the buddy classes activities we've already been doing once a semester. My administrative assistant, he provided moral support and encouragement in this process. This is his first year as an assistant principal, and so he didn't want to put too much on his plate, but wanted to be involved with this new implementation. Our social worker and our counselor, these ladies have been the two that I've worked with the most for this project. Since I'm adding this to what they had already established, having them on my team, we were able to narrow down a social emotional theme for the week that we will be implementing the Book Buddies, and find a book that correlates with that theme to showcase what Book Buddies would look like during that time. And lastly, myself, I'm a third grade teacher at my school. My role for this project was to find the reading resources on our weekly theme, and then what the students can use when they meet up. So they will be doing a response activity and a get to know you activity. And once we hopefully get started and develop that routine and the expectations and procedures, I can start assigning more roles and responsibilities to those who might want to help and volunteer to be involved during this new service project at our school. So what's the plan and how is this going to work for my school? So since I am adding the Book Buddies project to a quarterly project that we've already been doing in our school. I will not be implementing this project until February, which is our third quarter, when we come back from winter break. When we do our next social emotional building wide skill spirit week. Prior to the first implementation, classroom teachers will need to go over expectations, rules, requirements needed to be a successful buddy. There will be these will be explained in detail for the teachers to provide to their classrooms to go over them with their students. This will include things like appropriate ways to respond to one another, the different types of reading that they can do, response questions, that type of stuff. So that the time that they're together, it's a time of growing in their education and also learning how to respond socially with each other and respectfully as well. So how is this going to work in my school building? In February, we're still trying to finalize the final date on when that can happen, which we'll know more about that when we come back from winter break. That week, we will do a spirit week. And with that spirit week, it will correlate with a certain social emotional theme that we choose, which is what I would be partnering with our counselor and social worker with. And on that week, our buddy classrooms, an upper classroom with a lower elementary classroom, will get together for 30 minutes one day out of that week. During this 30-minute time frame, the students are going to be partnered together and they will participate in a get to know my buddy activity, read a story of the week on the theme of empathy, and then complete some response activities that go with that book. So that's kind of a snapshot of what that time will look like. The teachers will all have a layout of how that will look prior to the week of Spirit Week so that they can kind of talk with their classroom teacher on, their buddy classroom teacher on how they want to divide their kids up, partner them up, and figure out a day throughout the week that they could get together and implement this. So my school building has an early childhood program, and we go all the way up to 4th grade. Since I am pairing my book buddies with a quarterly project that we've already been doing, classrooms have already been partnered together. And so I wanted to keep the consistency to help build even stronger relationships. So here's the layout of the buddy classrooms that will be paired together during the project implementation. And so some of them you can kind of see I have like 1st and 2nd graders together, or early childhood and 2nd. And so the book that I've chose for them to read is along that grade level as well. And I've even thought about maybe finding 2 different levels of books to read. So those with a little bit of higher grade levels have a little bit more challenging of a book, and the ones that are a little bit lower have a book that's more on their appropriate reading level as well. So here are a few examples of some of the get to know my buddy activities that will be used throughout. The one in the picture here is they are just taking some time to color their character. That kind of describes their character traits on themselves. One thing I really love about these get to know my buddy activities is that it's not only an opportunity to get to know somebody else in the building, but it's a chance for our whole school community to build trust and comfortability with one another, and also create those relationships with kids that they don't typically see on a regular basis. So for the Book Buddies activity day, so the day that the classrooms meet together, students will be reading the story I Am a Human by Susan Verde. Since it's not realistic for me to provide a book for every pair of students, a script of the book will be provided, and you can see that script up in the top right corner. After they've read the story, they will then play the We Are Human dice activity, which is right in this middle of the screen here. The number they get on the dice is the question they have to answer with their buddy about empathy and the feeling that we would feel and how we would relate to how others feel. When this is finished, they will then complete the worksheet of drawing a picture in a web of a time that they felt sad, helped others, had a big dream, or was fearful, and lastly, how they are unique, and that's at the bottom right corner. Feedback on this is going to be very important just because I have yet to implement it, and I don't have any feedback yet to know what I could do to make this service project even better. So to ensure that all voices are heard after the implementation, I have created a Google form, which will be sent out to all the staff that are involved during our Book Buddies time that week. And at the end of the week, to make sure that everybody's had a chance to implement it, to receive their feedback, they will fill out the Google form. And then hopefully I'll be able to see what things I can change for next time. And even if they're interested in doing this again, or if there's others that would be interested in helping further the Book Buddies and make it even bigger. So what are the next steps? So first of all, implementing it is the next step. And so once I implement it, hopefully then I'll be able to get the feedback that I need to make the necessary adjustments and improvements to where we can try this again. And it's our goal to try it again in the fourth quarter as well. So my principal and I are strong believers in taking things really, really, really slow and getting all the wrinkles out right at the beginning before we try to go even bigger, which I love that we were on the same page and we worked really well with that. And so it is our goal to try these implementations for the third quarter and the fourth quarter just for this school year. And then hopefully teachers will jump on board with this and really want to practice it and utilize it to where we can next year start maybe looking at how we could do it once a month or even twice a quarter. So I think this is going to be really, really, really fun. And I hope that the teachers enjoy it just as much as I am excited about it. I have really enjoyed taking on the leadership role in this course and seeing the potential that I really have to be a servant leader in my building, not just to my coworkers, but also to my students as well. So thank you all for listening to my presentation, and I hope that you enjoyed the info on Book Buddies and maybe want to try implementing it in your school building as well. Thank you.